Ladies and gentlemen, English arrogance strikes again. Michael Owen opens his dirty little mouth and decides to speak on the Harry Kane move to Bayern again. And he basically slams him. Like, he does it in a polite way, but Michael Owen is basically roasting his decision to move to Bayern. He is very obviously sliding the Bundesliga, telling you a lot with very little words what he thinks about basically the Bundesliga, his move to outside of England, blah, 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 blah. We're going to break it down. I'm ESN Mia has us with the full quote, the full context. I wanted to play the video version of it, but I just don't know with copyright and stuff on YouTube. I just don't know. So we're going to read the I'm ESN Mia quote, tweet. And I need this, guys. I need to get rid of some anger after that Germany game today. I need to vent. And there's no one I like to vent more about than Bundesliga haters. So let's get into it. By the way, new camera. I'm using my iPhone as a camera, so I hope it looks better. Do I look better? Do I look uglier? Do I look less ugly? I don't know. It is what it is. Well, I'm just a guy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know nothing about nobody, you know what I mean? So let's talk about it. Michael Owen, he is quoted saying on the Rio Ferdinand Presents show or whatever it was, Harry Kane is just lethal. He's a brilliant finisher. I disagree with him going to Germany. I was outspoken about that. I still think he was nuts. You're on the verge of becoming the all-time Premier League top scorer. You've got kids that are in school. I mean, I just couldn't see it. I don't see it. If you're that desperate to win something, then do another year at Tottenham and then go. It's like if you go up and move to Celtic and you win the league, you win every year. But there's no achievement in that. A great achievement would have been being top goal scorer, even in the Premier League. That would have been unbelievable. He could have won things along the way. Anyway, I digress. Harry Kane, I love him. I think he's lethal. He's got balls of steel under pressure. You've got to be a great penalty taker. You've got to have a great penalty taker. He is unbelievable. I don't know why I was talking about that. He's got presence. I do like him. I think he's been brilliant over the years. Let's break that down. A lot was said. Let's start with stanza 1, paragraph 1, whatever you want to call it. Actually, no. I won't call it a stanza because you call things in literature a stanza. What is it, a poem? I think that's a poetry term. This isn't poetry. Michael Owen was not speaking poetry. You know what I mean? He was speaking bullshit. He's speaking out of his ass. So let's look at the first shit paragraph, actually. Harry Kane is just lethal. And I agree. Oh, Harry Kane. I love Harry. Harry, the way he strikes that ball, it's mouthwatering. He's a brilliant finisher. I disagree with him going to Germany. Why? I was outspoken about that. And he was. I remember when Harry Kane moved to Bayern 2 years ago, he was one of those guys, one of the first guys in the English media saying, why are you going to the Bundesliga? You're so close to the Premier League goal record, blah, 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 blah. Nonsensical stuff like that. I still think he was nuts. You're on the verge of being the all-time Premier League goal scorer. You've got kids that are in school. I mean, I just couldn't see it. I don't see it. Now, you are on the verge of being the all-time Premier League goal scorer. Now, guys, riddle me this. In all honesty, if Harry Kane stayed at Spurs and broke the Premier League goal-scoring record, overtaking Alan Shearer, but say he never won a Premier League title, would people use that against him? They would. I'm telling you, people would. The English media would. All the old heads in the media, the pundits, everyone would say, oh, he's got all these goals. It's a brilliant achievement. But overall, Alan Shearer is greater because he won a Premier League. What? You know, that's what the talking point would have been. So now all of a sudden, because he's moved to Bayern, oh, you should have just stayed and become the all-time Premier League goal scorer. Also, he's using like his kids as a little bit of a guilt trip. You've got kids in school here. So what? I bet the school system in Germany is better than the school system in England. So really, Michael Owen, Harry's kids are fine. They are probably in a top English-speaking environment for their education in Munich. Don't worry about that, Michael. In fact, Michael Owen, let's talk about your daughter, Gemma Owen. She was so talentless and stupid that she has to go be on Love Island to make a living for herself. So, Michael Owen, let's calm down, bro. Let's calm down. Why don't you focus on Gemma riding horses and being on Love Island? Let's focus on your kids first, Michael, before we talk about Harry's kids, who are, I guarantee you, are having the time of their lives in Munich. Don't worry about that, Michael Owen. And he says, I just couldn't see it. I don't see it. He goes on to say, if you're that desperate to win something, then do another year at Tottenham and then go. No. And we'll break down why no. We'll break down why that statement makes no sense. It's like if you go up and move to Celtic and win the league. You win every year, but there's no great achievement in that. Now, I understand that argument. When Harry Kane came to Bayern, we were on what? 12 in a row? I mean, we won so many in a row. I don't even remember the number. I believe it was 12 in a row. I believe it is 12 in a row. So I understand that sentiment. Oh, he's just going to come to Bundesliga and they're going to run through the league, blah, 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 blah. But you know what's great about Harry Kane's move to Bayern and everything that's transpired since then? He didn't win the league in his first year. Bayern came up against the greatest Bayer Leverkusen side of all time. Undefeated Bayer Leverkusen didn't lose a game in the Bundesliga in his first season at Bayern. If anything, losing that first year in the Bundesliga legitimized the league again, showed that there's genuine competition, and then the next year, when Harry Kane goes off again with Bayern and wins that title back to bring it to Munich, the title means even more. The title means even more, not just to him, but to Bayern, the whole Bayern fan base. So, that league title last year wasn't just another league title. That was a league title of revenge. That was a year of revenge against all of the Bundesliga. Because after we finally fell from our perch and not win the league title, you had Dennis Undav, Stuttgart striker, coming out and saying, we've always been the second best team. Bayern, Bayern's the third best, fourth best team. Us and Leverkusen were far better. And then to proceed the next year to completely get dominated by Bayern in the league and get shown true levels. So I understand the Celtic sentiment, but also he's comparing the Scottish league to the Bundesliga. So that's telling you what Michael Owen genuinely believes in the Bundesliga. Michael Owen genuinely believes the Bundesliga is on par with the Scottish league. Now tell me this. Say Harry Kane hypothetically moved to Celtic instead of Bayern and won the Scottish league. And then say, so let's take two career paths. You've got Harry Kane going to Bayern, he wins the Bundesliga. You have Harry Kane going to Celtic and winning the Scottish Premier League. Michael Owen's mind equates the Celtic league title, the Scottish League Premier League title, to the same level as the Bundesliga league title. And that's mind-boggling. That's some straight horse shit out of his mouth. That Scottish league is trash. Now, respect to Celtic, they gave Bayern a game in the playoffs last year in the Champions League. But the depth of that league from top to bottom, it is garbage. The Scottish Premier League is awful. Compared to the Bundesliga, who constantly has teams competing in the Champions League every year. They have teams in the Europa League and Conference League going up against Spanish, Serie A, English Premier League teams, beating them, having close games with them. The strength of the Bundesliga is galaxies higher than the Celtic leagues. But this clown, Michael Owen, has the balls to say it's like if you go up and move to Celtic and win the league. You win every year, but there's no great achievement in that. I'm sorry, Michael. And this is something fans from teams that don't win a lot of league titles don't understand. Even if you win a couple in a row, even Bayern's 12 in a row, right? You can say 12 in a row, Bayern's Liga, this and that. You could say all of that, right? But the players still have to go out there and play 34 games. And this is how I know, people don't watch the Bundesliga. Yes, Bayern did win 12 in a row, but we still had to go out there. Bayern still had to go out there and display dominance over everyone else in the Bundesliga. Bayern did not coast those Bundesliga titles. They did not just waltz onto the field half-ass with no training and win those leagues. They trained every day. They stayed disciplined. They took the bullshit from the German media. They keep going and going and going. They keep going out there and winning. If we lose, we go back out there. We win until we win that league title again. That takes different mental discipline. That takes elite mentality. But, that's something Michael Owen will never understand. That's something Michael Owen would never understand. And then he says, a great achievement would have been being the top goal scorer even in the Premier League. That would have been unbelievable. And he would have won things along the way. This is where, the first statement in the second paragraph, if you're desperate to win something, then do another year at Tottenham and then go. And then this last statement, a great achievement would have been being the top goal scorer even in the Premier League. That would have been unbelievable, and he could have won things along the way. Those two statements, hand in hand, completely false. Because look at the landscape of Europe at that time. Harry Kane decided he wants to leave Tottenham. Now, which teams were available for Harry Kane to go to? Not Manchester United. Now, Manchester United was an option for Harry Kane, but Harry Kane is smart. Harry Kane isn't blinded since he moved to Bayern. This automatically tells you Harry Kane wasn't blinded by, I got to stay in England. I got to break the goal scoring record. I can't leave this beautiful, great country of England. He was willing to always move abroad. And he knew Manchester United is a mess. They will not get better anytime soon. They will not build a actual project around me, which was true. So we couldn't go to Manchester United. Liverpool, yes, Liverpool this summer have spent 500 million pounds on players, 150 million on Isak, right? But they weren't willing to spend any sort of money like that the year Harry Kane left to Bayern. They weren't. Man City had Haaland. He's obviously not going to go to Arsenal from Tottenham. So out of those, the Premier League teams, his options were gone. La Liga, Barcelona did not have the money. They did not have the money to buy. Harry Kane and give him the contract that he deserved, right? No way. They did not have 100 million to give to Tottenham. So Barcelona, X. Real Madrid. Now, this was a conversation I was having at the time of Harry Kane's transfer to Bayern. I didn't understand why Real Madrid was not competing for Bayern with his signature, because that's the only other team that had space for Harry Kane. They just got rid of Benzema. They needed a Benzema replacement, but they were not in for Harry Kane at all. That's the only team in Europe that I thought Harry Kane would be willing to go to and that could compete for his signature with Bayern. And then you have PSG, who at the time, remember, PSG, yes, they just won the treble. It's PSG. We're not looking at PSG 2 years ago the same as what we're looking at PSG today. So PSG was not an option, and Serie A, I'm sorry, none of those Serie A projects are as exciting as the Bayern project. And so Bayern was really the only option, and still a great option. You're joining the second biggest club of all time. Historically, you're joining a massive club, proportionately, 10 times, 100 times bigger than Tottenham. A team that will always be in competition for the Champions League every single year. So screw the Premier League goal record. He wouldn't have gone to any league. There was no move open for him at the time to go to any team that would compete for the Premier League. So he had to go. He knew that. He made the right choice, and he went to Bayern. And he finishes the statement with, anyway, we digress. Harry Kane, I love him. I think he's lethal. He's got balls of steel under pressure. You've got to have a great penalty taker. He is unbelievable. He's got presence. I do like him. I think he's been brilliant over the years. True. But you don't have to be a genius to realize that, Michael Owen. So that does not redeem the horse crap that you just spewed, Mr. Michael Owen. Mr. Finished at 25. Now, I respect Michael Owen. I mean, he was a brilliant player in his youth. He was. I mean, probably, we're talking, I think people forget about Michael Owen. I wasn't alive during his peak, but I could recognize the achievements. I could recognize from what people tell me, and when I go watch back and look at his achievements. When we talking about the best teenagers of all time, there's Ronaldo Nazario, there's Pele, and a lot of people are now putting in Lamine Yamal in there with the level of talent and play they're playing at as a teenager. Don't forget, guys, and this is just to give a little respect to Michael Owen, even though he just spewed some bullshit right out of his ass, basically saying the Bundesliga is on level of the Scottish Premier League and Bayern is equal to Celtic. Some stupid bullshit like that. But to give him his flowers, to show him a little respect, Mr. Michael, bro, he won a Premier League Golden Boot at 17 and at 18 years old. He went back-to-back for the Premier League Golden Boot as a teenager, 17 and 18 years old. That's ridiculous. That's unheard of. So he was a great player. But he was a pace and power merchant. Let's keep it at that. You know, Michael Owen was a pace and power merchant. Once he lost his speed after he snapped his hamstring or whatever in half, I think that big injury was, he was never the same player. He never was close to reaching the heights that he was as a teenager. So really, Michael Owen, you were brilliant, but you peaked as a teenager. So that also is kind of sad. But yeah, just absolute English arrogance on full display from Michael Owen. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This man is equating the Scottish Premier League to the Bundesliga. I mean, it's funny because he's not just some delusional old hobbit pundit saying these things. I bet a lot of people in England do think and mirror the same thoughts as as Michael Owen about this Harry Kane move, about the Bundesliga. That's the scary thing. And that's just English arrogance at its finest. English arrogance strikes again. Michael Owen slams Harry Kane, but I'm here for you, Harry. I'm here to protect you in your decision. You made the right choice. Let's go for that Champions League this season. Vison Company has your back, and let's make history. Michael Owen, piss off, mate. You're a prick. English arrogance strikes again. It's been your boy, Hokage. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.